This is the story of a boy who used to live in this dirty slum of Frankfurt. His parents died at the age of 12 due to smallpox. He lived in a small room with 30 people. He was not allowed to do any business of his choice. Later on, this boy's family not only became the richest family in Europe, but also in the world. This family becomes so serious about money that at one point in time, they decide to marry only their cousin. To expand their business, this family sends their 5 sons to different places which control the entire world. In the 19th and 20th century, this family gave loans to entire countries. They stopped many countries from sinking. They financed Indian railways as well. This bank, which has so much gold today, this family gave loans to this bank and saved it from being ruined. More than the GDP of the entire Maharashtra state, they used to sell gold worth more than that in just one go. And even powerful people like the current president of France were employed here. Not only that, they have 1,800 palaces. Their total value is such that we can build Mukesh Ambani's Antilia, which is the most expensive house in the world, 17 times. And even after that, we will have billions of dollars. We are talking about the famous. The Rothschild family is the richest and most powerful family in the world. The mother of this family's 5 brothers even said, "Don't worry, there won't be any more wars in Europe, because my sons won't give money to any country to fight a war." The story begins with Mayer Rothschild, who was born in 1744 in Frankfurt, Germany. His family was Jewish, and at that time, Jews were treated very differently. So different that Jews were kept in a small settlement called Judengasse outside Frankfurt town. And this place was so congested that Mayer Rothschild had a small house here whose width was only 11 feet, and more than 30 people lived in it. Mayer Rothschild first started dealing with gold coins. After many years of hard work, the mayor became so successful that he started dealing with Europe's richest royal family. Even the mayor was managing all the wealth and finances of Prince William. The mayor had become rich, but he was not happy with it. He wanted to generate wealth that would last for many generations, that is, for 100 years. For this, he did 2 very smart things, which no one had thought of at that time. The first strategy was that as soon as the mayor found out that Prince William was going to buy a lot of gold coins from the market. So before this news spread in the market, the mayor used to borrow a lot of gold coins and buy them at cheap prices. And as soon as the news spread in the market that Prince William was going to buy thousands or lakhs of gold coins, then due to this sudden demand, a lot of people started buying more gold coins, due to which the price of gold coins would increase a lot. And at exactly this time, the mayor used to sell all the coins he had bought in the market and earn a lot of profit. And today, this is what people call front-running in the world of trading and investing. The second decision was that in the early 1800s, there was an industrial revolution going on throughout Europe. Many countries were competing with each other. The mayor knew that this was a very big opportunity for his family, and if he wanted to take advantage of this industrial revolution and war, then he would have to spread his banking empire outside of Frankfurt throughout Europe. That's why he sent his 5 sons to these 5 most important financial centers in Europe. And this decision of his was going to change the fate of the Rothschild family. These 5 financial centers were London, Paris, Vienna, Naples, and Frankfurt. These 5 financial centers will appear far apart on the map. But these 5 Rothschild brothers set up their banking institutions so well here that, despite being far apart, all the banks worked like a single bank. These 5 brothers took all the decisions together, and their network was very strong. But the most talented brother among them was Nathan Mayer Rothschild, who came to London to settle for just 15 to 16 lakhs. But in just a few years, he became so successful that he was earning millions of profits every year. In 1811, Nathan established a bigger bank than his father in London, and he named it NM, Rothschild Sons. See, before the 18th century, for 20 years, England and almost the whole of Europe were fighting a war with the French Emperor, Napoleon. And Nathan saw a very good opportunity in this war. Nathan had set up a team that gave Nathan all the information about the war even before the British government. And Nathan used this information in a very evil way, which we can't even imagine. On June 18, 1815, there is what happened in the Battle of Waterloo, which no one in England had expected at that time. In this war between England and its allies, the King of France, Napoleon, loses. At that time, there was no internet or telephones, but the Rothschild family had many horses and pigeons trained so that they get the first information. This is why the news of Napoleon reaches them so fast that even the government of England did not know that their army had won in Waterloo. And as soon as Nathan finds out about this, he goes to the London Stock Exchange and starts selling the stocks aggressively so that the rest of the investors think that England is going to lose this war. And in panic, the rest of the people start selling their shares. That's when Nathan's agents buy back these same stocks at low prices. And finally, when everyone finds out that England has won the war, then all the people start buying back the shares, which increases the value of the share. And at this time, Nathan sells the shares he bought at low prices at high prices. And even though a lot of investors' money was lost in this panic, all that money came into Nathan's hands due to the right plan. In the 19th century, this family not only invested in banking, but also in railways, industries, and oil. They financed the industries and railway lines throughout Europe. In fact, from 1895 to 1907, in just 12 years, they gave $450 million to different governments of Europe whose value today is more than $14 billion. This amount is so huge that it can buy two big banks like the Central Bank of India and the Indian Bank. And just imagine that Rothschild family only gave this money in loans. In fact, today, whenever a country is in a crisis or is about to go bankrupt, it goes to the International Monetary Fund to get loans. But in the 19th and 20th century, the Rothschild family had so much money that the Rothschild family alone started giving loans to the governments of the world. And they saved many countries from going bankrupt. In fact, many banks that give loans to all of us today also take money from the Rothschild family on loan. Like the Bank of England in 1825, which was one of the largest banks in England at that time. Their money was about to run out, and there was a risk of this bank closing. They needed a loan from somewhere as soon as possible. And these people went to Nathan and his family, who gave loans to this bank and saved it from going bankrupt. In 1818, they gave a loan of £360 million to the German government, and this family has also given loans to today's superpowers like France. At that time, the whole of Europe was so dependent on the Rothschild family that these countries had to go to Rothschild for money to fight wars with each other. And when there was a risk of war in Europe in the 19th century, the mother of these five brothers, Gertrude Rothschild, even said, "Don't worry, there will be no more wars in Europe, because my sons will not give money to any country to fight a war." The Rothschild family had made such good investments that people thought that these people can predict the future. For example, this is the Suez Canal, and the ships that pass through here carry goods worth more than $1 trillion every year. And today, the whole of Europe is dependent on this canal for import and export. But the Rothschild family did not know this today, but only 150 years ago. And in 1869, when this canal was built and ready, the Rothschild family convinced the British government to buy this canal. And within a few hours, they arranged not just 10,000, 20,000 pounds for it, but a total of 4 million pounds. And it was almost impossible to do this then. Similarly, at the end of the 19th century, the demand for gold had increased a lot, and many countries were keeping gold as a reserve. Surprisingly, the Rothschild family had predicted this demand for gold 20 to 30 years ago, and they were investing in the world's largest gold and silver mines. In 1893, when there was a gold crisis in the USA, the US government called the wealthy man at the time, J.P. Morgan, and told him to arrange gold as soon as possible. Otherwise, there would be a huge problem. At that time, J.P. Morgan knew that there was only one family in the world that could help him, and he contacted the Rothschild family and bought almost 100,000 kilos of gold from them, which is worth more than 5 million crores today. And this is more than India's richest state, Maharashtra's GDP. Third example. In the same way, many car companies emerged in the 19th and 20th centuries. Petrol-powered cars began to be made, and oil demand was increasing rapidly all over the world. And the most shocking thing is that the Rothschild family predicted this demand in 1883. And they had invested in the world's first oil wells in Baku and Azerbaijan, so that their control over the world's oil supply was also maintained. But in the First and Second World Wars, many things went bad with this family. Leaving England and the French branch, their entire family was either destroyed or they had to close their businesses because of Hitler's army. The Rothschild family survived, but today this family remains very secretive, and most people don't know about their details. This man's name is Jacob Rothschild, who is the head of the English family, and today he leads the entire Rothschild family. Today, this family not only does banking but also asset management, wine production, and consulting. They have more than 1,800 houses in the world, whose total value is said to be $36 billion. Not only that, they have more than 55 yachts and more than 100 private planes. This family still has more than $100 billion in funds, which they invest in different stock markets. They are investors in leading companies like Meta, Apple, Amazon, Starbucks, HP, PepsiCo, Qualcomm. And last year, they made a profit of $16 billion just by selling wine. Many people think that today the Rothschild family is not as powerful as it was 100 or 200 years ago. But this is completely false. Look at this photo. Here is the head of the Rothschild family. With Queen Elizabeth of Britain, his family owns 38% of the American Rockefeller Group. And people put allegations on Jacob that he and his family fund many banks and politicians in the world. Like Bill Clinton, the former president of the United States, is his friend. And many people don't know that even the current president of France, Emmanuel Macron, is also his former employee. And they also have allegations that Macron became the president of France with the support of the Rothschild family. Not only that, some secret documents are released in 2013. And it reveals that there are more than 30 hidden trusts in some islands of the Rothschild family, which holds assets worth billions of dollars. And if we look at the name of these trusts, it is a very strange name. Like Anne and like this word, other trusts also rhyme with it. Like Bannon Trust, Denon Trust, which no one knows the name of. And even today, their influence is not limited to just some islands or Europe. In fact, many allegations are put on them even in India. Like in 2013, when 3G was being introduced in the whole of India, then the government auctioned the 3G spectrum for it. And in this auction, the government hired a company from the Rothschild family as an auctioneer. And they were given 30 crores. But the surprising thing is that the company named N.N. Rothschild's son, which was given an auction contract, was alleged that they had no experience in auctioning. Even in 2016, when demonetization happened, the EAT department raided a company named Vanki's India. There were allegations on them that during the demonetization, they had transferred thousands of crores of rupees from their office to another place. And even the owners of this company are said to have good relations with the Rothschild family. And although some of these allegations are wrong, but after watching this video it has become clear that the Rothschild family is as influential as it was 200 years ago. And the whole family started with that child, who used to live in a small room with 30 people in a small settlement in Germany, and who became an orphan at the age of 12. I hope you like this documentary. If you don't want to miss such knowledgeable videos, then don't forget to press the bell button after subscribing. See you soon.